Welcome to part 2 of my ongoing project for restoring Final Fantasy XIV 1.0. Here's what I have so far. I hope you watched my previous video where I extracted all this data, and I've been getting up to adding new textures to it. And quite frankly, it's coming along pretty nicely. It doesn't look not even like 10% as good as the game, but I got a pretty big map coming, and that's what I got so far. It's a pretty big area. You can see it better over here. It overlaid over the map. It even comes with Mount Ogomaru, or whatever it's called. Now, something interesting that I've discovered is that Final Fantasy's terrain is mapped out into little grids, so that, let's say your character is at Cedarwood, or right here, is at the Cedarwood node, then it loads all the high-quality grids around you, but further around it loads these squares as the lower quality versions, which actually right now all of these are lower quality, because all of the 3D screenshots I took were over here, so these are way far away. And if your character was here and walking across here, it would load these ones progressively at higher and higher quality, and then it would revert these ones to lower and lower quality as you got further away from them and moved out of them. So what I've been doing is I've been adding up all the low quality ones and then slowly picking out all the high quality blocks, like these ones right here, and favoring them over the low quality ones and removing the low quality blocks. Whoops. Like for instance, I have these ones over here. But let's add some more blocks. Let's find a layer that isn't inhabited by anything. Like down here, you can select the layers. Like this is layer 1. This has all the low quality sectors in it. Then we have layer 2, which has all the organized sectors, which I've broken them off into the little objects that I could tell the game to load. And then we have 4 or 5, which has the unallocated ones, which basically they don't have. They haven't been broken off into the little sections yet. Like I could take this one. I could go into it. I could select this, I think. Oh no. One lower. Then I can go in here. I'll copy by Shift D. So now I have 2 copies with it, but the one thing that's different is that I have half of it selected inside it. So if I go to Edit Mode, Control I to delete these, and then or just invert selection and delete the faces. Now I have 2 objects, one with all, and one with one. We'll go with the one with all, and delete that. So now we have it broken off into little things. I'll press M2 to move that to layer 2. So now it's just joined the crowd of all the other ones that have been allocated, or whatever I should call it. So now let's go to layer number 3. Oh, and I forgot, I gotta convert the file, because as you probably noticed in my first video, 3D Ripper DX, whenever it imported the file, it kind of corrupted the file. So we'll import into 3D Mesh Lab. Let me find the file real quick. File 17, I think. It'll take a little bit to load, and whenever it reaches 98, we'll get 2 errors, and that's okay, because I mean that's the entire reason we're loading it into this program is to fix the errors. Like so. Now we'll immediately export mesh, of course into the right folder, as an object file, .obj. We'll save it and export it. Now let's go to Blender. Let's import the object file, the wavefront object file, 17. This will take a little bit to load. And once it's loaded, we will scale it, and then we will make sure it's all aligned properly, and then we will align it with everything else on the map that we have, and then we will cut away all of the low quality bits that I don't want on it, and we'll just be left with the high quality. Okay, so let's start. We'll scale it. Now, as you see, it's squashed, so we'll scale it in the Y direction by 2.4, scale it in the X direction by 1.35. So now it's a perfect sphere, well, mostly perfect at least. Then in the front, you can see that because it's tilted, the grid looks, because it's tilted, the grid looks almost like a solid piece of orange. So what we can do is we can rotate it on the x-axis to make that line up. But before we get all the way down there, let's rotate it on the z-axis to make the horizontal or the vertical grid lines match up. Now we can proceed with rotating on the x-axis. And that should be golden. But we need to quick save it by hitting Control U. Because see, unfortunately when you're messing with something this big, it's having to save the history of everything you've done. And for like if you wanted to go back or undo something. So it's having to, see it just crashed. Because it's having to save too much stuff, like 3 gigabytes on your RAM. Deselect all by hitting A. Select that. Select that. By the way, I'm hitting B to open up that box. Delete the faces. Go back into object mode. Control U to save it. Select this. Control I. Delete faces. Go back to object mode. U. Now we're going to scale it by 0.5, so it's half the size. Rotate it by 90. Now, something interesting I've noticed is that with such a big mesh, if you try to scale the entire object or mirror the entire object in the X scale, it just messes it all up. It just basically mirrors it in all directions. We don't want that. We only want to flip it. So we're going to go into edit mode, select all, mirror global, because remember if you do mirror local, then it has its own coordinates that are kind of wonky compared to what we want. You see how that fits in right there? It's pretty awesome. So let's bring in layer 1 and we can line these up. Now unfortunately they're not actually going to be lined up all through the map, but I'm going to have to deal with that later because I've spent probably about 16 hours trying to get these maps lined up and I've just realized you're not going to be able to do it. It's just, it's not possible. Oh, weird. I don't remember this being loaded before. Was it on any of my other maps? Oh, okay, yeah. No? That's 3. Okay, so it looks like I have a new sector in this map that's loaded. So I want to keep the low quality area up here. Oops. It's so delayed that it's very buggy. So I'll select this area. And then I'll also select this area. Because that's the only area I want. Now I'll Control I to reverse. Delete the faces. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these. Shift D to copy and paste it. So I see I have 2 of these now. And go into here. I can delete that. Go into here. Delete that. And I'll just toss this with M1. I'll just toss that onto layer 1. So now I can cut out what I already have and I can leave the low quality areas that I don't have yet. And I can get back to this, cutting out the high quality versions of this. I'll just select this. Select this. Now, one interesting thing though, one interesting thing, this cave right here, even though it's underground, it still follows the same line. It's still cut across there. Oops. Okay. It's still cut across the sector line, so you don't have to worry about things that are underground. It still follows the same rules of being under, of being inside the little square sectors. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go back into object mode and quick save that because I don't want to lose that. Now what we can do is we have the high quality mesh, but unfortunately, you notice there's something odd about the mesh. There's like these protruding triangles that sit inside here and whatnot. It's kind of it looks like it breaks up the mesh because see the mesh is supposed to be just these triangles. What it turns out to be is that there's actually the low quality mesh already loaded with the high quality, and so we got to get rid of the low quality. So I'm going to select one of the big polygons that is protruding and messing up the mesh, and hit Control plus. Now go to Z so you can see. See what it does is it selects all of the all of the polygons that are linked to it. Oops. So now I delete this, and now we have a nice clean face. And I can just go through here selecting the polygons that are out of place, that are actually from the low quality one, and just hit Control plus. And there we go. And I'll go through that. It kind of freezes whenever whenever it loads it a little bit. I guess this map over here is a lot more broken up than the other maps I've worked with, because before it was where you could just like select everything and it would just go immediately. Oh well. Let's see, is there anything else here? Looks like there's a few more faces stuck inside here. And we'll delete those. Looks pretty good to me so far. Let's cut that part out of the mesh. Oh, wait a minute. Something looks a little fishy here. Okay, there's that. Ah, okay, there's that. There's still some pieces stuck around here. Damn, there's more pieces? There's even more? This map is really broken up. Okay, that looks good enough. I think that's... there's even more. The other maps on the level areas weren't nearly as bad. It's gonna drive me crazy. Okay, that looks good enough to me. So now, I'll select this. Shift D to copy and paste it. I'll go in here, Control I. Select this. Delete that. So now I have the two objects. Oh, and one last thing I forgot. I want to go in here and remove the doubles. See, it removed 4,700 vertices. See, it turns out that they've actually, for some reason, they've actually put, whenever it extracted it, it actually put multiple polygons inside of each other. So we can go in here, we can press A and select everything, press W to go in the menu, and remove doubles. Removed 50,000 vertices. That really... Stupid Blender. Okay, so we'll go in here. What? Oh, okay, I mean... It's annoying when it freezes up. Okay, so select everything. W. Remove doubles. Go in here. Oops. W. Remove doubles. Remove 4,000. Awesome. And we'll move that one to 2. So now it's joined all the other sectors in the layer 2. And one last thing to make a place for it in layer 1. So here we have layer 1. This is where it is, right? It's a little off, but oh well. There we go. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to delete all the polygons inside here. There we go. Now it has it's a nice little place, and that one little block's been upgraded to high quality. I gotta make it higher though. There's a lot to still be done.